This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
Views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, you're encouraged to like and share them on Facebook. It's time for the African American Scene, presented every week at this time by Howard Insurance of Port St. Lucie and hosted by Rudy Howard.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Always glad to be with you here on a Wednesday night. My. Well, like I promised last week, I have this gift certificate for Dr. Irby for a free eye exam, and nobody came to pick it up, so it is back on the market again.
Up for grabs tonight.
Yeah, and here's the trivia question for tonight. What was the first American state to ban slavery? What was the first American state to ban slavery? If you know the answer to that, dial the number 340-1590, 340-1590, and you will be a winner. And before we get too far into the show, I want all of you to wish my friend and engineer Cliff a happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Oh.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Happy birthday, dear Cliff.
Did you bring cake and ice cream?
Happy birthday to you. Okay, so we know I'll never make any money singing, but that's my birthday wish for Cliff. So if you all want to call up and wish him a happy birthday, that'd be great. Listen, I got to tell you, I have experienced something in the last 2 weeks. I talked about it last week, but this week again, I have had phone calls from people who are avowed conservatives who were telling me they're done. They are not going to go with Donald Trump in November. And I've been around here for over 20 years, and I've been doing this now for about 8 years. And I have never had this run like I'm having now of people who are just saying no more. Wow, we got Clifford on line one. Yes, sir.
How you doing, sir?
Good. How about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Okay, you got an answer.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. No, sir. Good try.
What?
Nope, that's not it. The first state to ban slavery.
Okay, all right. Well, then I was mistaken. My apologies.
There's no need to apologize. But thank you for calling.
All right, take care.
Okay. So I have just not had that. And one of my underwriters, I've known her for like 15 years, and this is the second one of my insurance people who said she's done. Not only is she not voting for him, she's changing parties. And she's a good Christian woman. And so that kind of sent me on a search for tonight to discuss something, and I'm going to try to get into that a little bit with you tonight. How can you be a Christian and support Donald Trump? That seems to me like an oxymoron. But I want to give you every chance to explain your position. I did some reading and some research on why people who are Christian are supporting Donald Trump. So I wait to hear what your position is on that. And again, that number is 340-1590. The other thing I'm going to share with you, if you haven't heard about it, the Lincoln Project. And this is consistent with what I've been telling you, I've been finding out about people who were conservatives that have made a change. The Lincoln Project is a group of conservatives who have band together for the sole purpose of getting rid of Donald Trump and also defeating any legislator who has supported what they refer to as Trumpism. And I know some of you out there are Trumpsters, so please feel free to call, but I'll get into some of the thought process they have about that.
Trumpism.
Trumpism.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fascinating discussion.
Yeah. Well, I especially because I know I have several conservatives who are strong Christian believers who are fervent supporters of Donald Trump. And like I said, you know, I'm a Christian, and to me that's an oxymoron. I don't know how you can do that, but listen, in the reading I've done, I guess I'm beginning to get a feeling for why people do it. Not sure I agree with it, but at least I'm beginning to get an understanding why people do it. But so those are the main things. But I'm gonna share this with you also. While you continue to support this disastrous behavior by our president, I think you are setting the stage for some very bad behavior going forward. And let me tell you why. Like I said, I read this book, Understanding the Constitution by Kim Steele. I think it's Kim. I think that's her last name. She's a law professor. And in breaking down the Constitution into all its parts and even some of the letters that were written to further explain the Constitution, one of the things that she makes very clear, and she puts it in very clear, plain language so everyday person can understand, a lot of what we have come to believe as part of the Constitution is not. They are norms and principles that have been followed for more than 100 years, but they were not legal things. So so a lot of the things that have been done under President Trump, he didn't violate the law. I want to make that very clear, because I'm never going to be like some of these others and make up stuff. He's not violating the law, but he's violating a norm. And let's just talk about and this is why I want you to be concerned. Him denying Congress the right to oversight, which is now that is in the Constitution, which is why that is facing a legal challenge. If you support that, you're setting yourself up so that if there's a Democratic president, he will feel compelled, unless he has a very strong group of people around him, to do the same thing. To not have to answer to Congress when Congress seeks to have information in order to have oversight over the executive branch of government. That's not good. And I'm saying that as a Democrat and progressive, that's not good. I don't want my president to have that kind of unfettered power to ignore Congress because they are the balance that makes our whole system work. And your supporting that is disastrous. You're setting yourself up for heartache, and then you're going to start whining when the Democrat does it. See, it's okay now because the Republican's doing it, but when the Democrat does it, you're going to start whining and you're going to be claiming foul, but you got to have some foresight. You should be upset about it right now. This latest thing that he's done with the IGs, I don't know if you guys understand how that came about. That was put in by the Carter administration after Nixon with the idea that the IGs would act as an overseer of a particular branch of government to make sure that they're on the straight and narrow. Now, there's nothing, I'm going to repeat now, there is nothing in that law that would prohibit the president from firing the IG. He has fired 4 IGs in the last, I want to say 6 weeks. I don't want to exaggerate, but I think it's been like the last 6 weeks he's fired 4 IGs. That's not good for our democracy. I would feel the same way, and then trust me when I say this, and you're gonna think I'm not telling you the truth, but I am. I would feel the same way if there was a Democratic president that was firing IGs like that, because in essence what they're trying to do is eliminate any kind of transparency or any oversight over the government. And that's what makes our government and our nation special, because a ruler cannot just run roughshod. And our current president is trying to run roughshod over the entire system to do as he pleases, and he's not the king, he is the president. So I really want you to think about that, and if you disagree with me, that number again is 340-1590, 340-1590. But I want you to be thinking, I want you to really sit and think carefully. See if you can do this. I want you to think about how you'd feel if a Democrat was doing the same thing that Donald Trump is doing now. Would that be acceptable to you? Would that be all right with you? And if that wouldn't be all right with you, if it was a Democrat, it can't be all right with you if it's a Republican. Because it's coming. You know, it's coming. And one of the things that Kim said in the book was, when you violate norms and basic principles, it is like removing the baby gate in a room and allowing the baby to wander about when you've had the gate up there to try to protect the baby. So just keep that in mind. That is exactly what's happening. And I got a caller, but I want to say one more thing before I get to my caller, because this is important. If you heard the president yesterday chastise the reporter, of course it was a female, for asking a question about where was his economic plan for getting people back to work, and he proceeded to chew her out. Well, let me just tell you this, and I want you to understand this very clearly. That is all a ruse. What he's doing is an intimidation tactic so that any reporter that's in the room that asks him a question, that might want to ask him a question that's unfavorable, they'll be reluctant to do so. So I hope they do not become intimidated by this tactic. And we got Jay on line 1. Yes, sir.
How you doing, Rudy?
Good, good.
I hope you and the family are safe and doing okay.
Yes, sir, I am.
Good, good. That's good. You know, I'm watching all of this and listening to, It gets kind of disgusting because, what it does, it gives me, I go back and I think about what I went through. I didn't fight it. I didn't argue it. I was drafted. I went on in. I said, well, let me just go ahead and do my time and get on out of it. But when I got in, I learned so much. It was like an education for me when I went in. When I went in, I had an option. They gave me an option from going into the Army. They said I can go in the Air Force. The Air Force recruit got me and told me that that my with my score and everything I did on my written tests and physical tests and everything. He said I was good to be in the Air Force, and so I did that. But that's nothing neither here nor there. The thing that was really sad to me was when I was over in Europe in 3rd Air Force headquarters. They said we had to go to Spain to pick up equipment, some stuff that was very hot, top secret equipment for communications outfit. And Franco was still there. And this is what this guy reminds me of. Trump reminds me of Franco. He reminds me of what the Nazis in 1937, how they started out with, doing away with the media, just like he's doing, demonizing the media, even putting their lives at stake. When they're out there, when he's on the stump and they have to be in a special, like a little cage area, the people are hollering at them, and most of them are carrying guns. It's a throwback. You look back and you look at how these despots and these dictators, how they got started. And it's exactly the playbook. And we got a lot of people here that don't even see it.
Nope.
They think it's cute running around with an M6, with a AR-15. They think that's cute. That's not cute. That's dangerous. It's very dangerous. And, not only could you, shoot and kill somebody, an innocent person that's that's around you, but you can cause a lot of havoc in this country and cause people everybody to rile up. And this cause trouble. But the thing I'm just trying to bring out is we just look at all of these countries where they have all this, where they have these people that, what they did in Germany. Himmler was in charge of the, they had a secret police. They had a secret squad, and they would go around and intimidate people, just like we're doing with Barr, with our Attorney General. He's going in that direction to be the secret police, to go around and harass and put and bring up charges, take people out of jail who are guilty, and do their thing and without any rip. It seemed like the Congress and the Senate don't want to do a thing because they're running scared. Half of them, they worried about being elected, but they could forget about being reelected, a lot of them, because I think if everything goes like it is right now, where it's going, and with these people that's in charge now of this country not taking care of trying to save people's lives, when November 3rd get here, I think we're going to have a new president and a new Senate.
I think you're
right.
right.
Those folks in the Senate, I think those folks in the Senate, they're walking on eggshells, and every day they run behind this character. They get deeper and deeper into the doo-doo. And it gets to the point, and it's getting to the point where they won't be able to get out of that doo-doo. They think they're smart, The one from South Carolina, Graham, is that his name?
Yeah, Lindsey Graham.
Mr. Graham? Oh boy, he's really the Kool-Aid,
Yeah, but
he used to had a little bit of sense when McCain was alive. It seemed like when McCain passed away, he just lost all of his sense. And all of his, trying to, reason things out. He just lost it all, thinking that he's going to ride on the coattails of this so-called dictator president we have here. And it's not going to work out for him because we have a good candidate running against him. Yeah. And as quietly as I say, this young man that's running against him, Harrison, his name is, it might take him down with all of this nonsense. Even some of Graham's supporters probably going to getting tired of him. They're getting tired because they see he's not doing anything. People are dying all over the place from this government when the government's supposed to step in and really take charge and do things. So it's going to be. I just look at this, and if everything stays right like it is, and people just wait and get out there and vote, or vote by mail, or however they're going to do it, but they got to get out there and not fool around and not dance and play games with themselves.
But let me make one.
We can have a new president and a new Senate, and that's all we need. And just get them out of there.
Well, I got to make this comment, and I got another caller I got to get to.
Yes, sir.
The guy from Volkswagen in the state of South Carolina, who had been a long-time Lindsey Graham supporter, said he is no longer supporting Lindsey Graham. that in examination of how Lindsey Graham, he is determined Lindsey Graham has no character. And he's known Jamie Harrison for the past 10 years, and he's putting his money behind Jamie Harrison. So, but thank
I'm
you,
going to send him
Jay.
some money. I'm going to send him some money myself
I already have.
for his campaign. I'm going to send him something because I think and I talk about him all. I let a lot of folks know about him, and I said we got to start, even though we're not in South Carolina, but it's all part of what we're trying to do to get this country back.
I've sent
Take
him
care,
money.
man. I appreciate it.
Okay, I've sent him money twice, and we got Steve on line 3. Steve,
How you doing, Rudy?
good, my friend.
Good. Hey, let me give you a little observance.
Okay.
The Democrats, I'm going to vote for, but the Democrats should be out there right now just playing Trump's shortcomings to death. And they're not. They're just staying quiet, not a peep out of him, letting him get away with what he gets away with. Well, that just empowers the wackos out there to say, see, we got a wacko leading us now. It's legal. So the Democrats have got to get, remember under Obama, we had neighborhood parties and stuff like that. They've got to get it back.
Well, you can't do that now with COVID. Listen, I'm supporting a local candidate running for Congress, and her strength is being able to speak in front of audience, because when you hear her speak, when you walk out of there, you go, I'm going to support her. She's dynamite. But that's just...
the whole world right now is running on computers.
Yeah.
And, so to say, well, we can't do it because there wouldn't be a crowd, that's wrong. You have a crowd online.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you're right. I think there's adequate information out there that Trump has said himself to use that to bludgeon him over the head with his own words.
Well, today he said about no mail-in ballots. Then they reminded him he mailed in his ballot, him and his wife. Oh, so now this afternoon, maybe mail-in ballots aren't that bad, but keep your eye on him.
Yeah.
He threatened the governor of Michigan to withhold flood aid if she didn't support him. So
I know. He's
your eye on that guy.
You know, I got to tell you something. One of the things that he ran on was drain the swamp. The swamp has never been swampier than it is right now. I mean, it is just an absolute tar pit.
I was going to say, it's not a swamp anymore. It's a qualified den of inequity.
Oh, God, it's unbelievable. And the thing
that bothers me is the American people are sitting there quiet as church mice.
Yeah. A lot of people are sitting very quietly accepting his behavior, and I'm not sure I understand that either, because some of it is just so bizarre that, I'm like, when he told us that we could drink Lysol to get rid of COVID, that's it right there. I knew better than to say that when I was a high school senior.
They had over 100 cases of people ingesting bleach water because he said bleach could take care of it.
Yes.
Well, guess what? If you took biology, you find out the stomach's not connected to the lung.
Right. Yes.
It has to get into the bloodstream to kill it.
Exactly.
I think you'll be dead long before then. But the point is that people can't sit around and talk. They have to get off their dead butt this time and get out and vote. Or go sign up to vote at home. 20 years ago, myself and 20 other people took a day one class, became voter registrars, and then we went around to all the public and registered over 3,000 people to vote. Why can't that be done here?
Well, we're doing some of that. There have been people...
We're doing some of that?
Well, before the COVID, there was routine field operations going out on the weekend, registering the people to vote. And then there were people that were making phone calls once a week to registered Democrats seeking their support and making sure that they're going to be coming out for the upcoming election. Now, I know some of that is still going on. I kind of lost touch with some of it. I got to get back in touch with it. But
well, I'll tell you what we're doing. I'm a disabled person. I started a group now with 2 guys. Each guy brought 2 more guys, and those 2 brought 2. And we're well over 800 now. And we're going to be felt this year because how many disabled people are there in this county? Maybe 60%.
yeah,
So if we get 10,000 of them, we're a voting power.
yeah.
We did this on the cameras in the courtroom 25 years ago in Palm Beach. That was my group, Daddy's in divorce. We got 50-50 visitation. So you can do anything you want to do. The thing is, you got to want to do it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
my advice to people, get off your butt and vote.
Oh, absolutely. That's number one.
Vote from home.
Yeah, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
Take care.
All righty. He's right. He's right. Now, let me, for those of you that don't know, and I could see on Cliff's face, he'd never heard about this Lincoln Project.
I was thinking of the theater.
Yeah.
Waiting for it to open.
Yeah. The Lincoln Project, I give you some of the names that are involved in it. George Conway is involved. And you know who that is. He's Conway's husband, who's working in the Trump administration. Steve Schmidt is involved, and Rick Wilson is involved in this Lincoln Project. And basically, they are opposed to Trumpism, and they are all lifelong conservatives. And they have made a commitment, financial commitment, and a work commitment to make sure that Donald Trump does not get reelected. And they're doing that as conservatives, which is amazing. I can't remember another time in my life where the party split like this, where you had a faction of the party openly operating to defeat a member of its own party, although Steve Schmidt no longer considers himself a registered Republican. So kind of interesting. And we got Nick. Yes, sir.
Nick?
Yes, sir.
This is Nick.
Yes, Nick.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah,
How
he's
you
talking
doing?
to you.
Listen, this is a breath of fresh air speaking to you because, you know, from 12 o'clock in the afternoon on this dial, you hear nothing but Republicans talking, you know. You got, you know, Tom Sullivan, Jim, what's his name? He's on down the road. Anyway, Rush Limbaugh, and like, I can't believe this. But anyway, I'm a big supporter of the Democrats. I just, you know, this guy here in office is on an ego trip. For me, he's a hope president. You know, when you come into office, 3 months into the he was elected president. All he wanted to do was campaign for the next election. You know, and what his main objective when he got into office as the president, he wanted to put Hillary Clinton in jail. That was his first priority. I want to put her in jail. You know, that didn't work out too well. You know, he wants to appeal and revoke Obamacare. That didn't work out too well. And the wall, I don't know, he stole the money from the military to get part of it, you know.
Yeah.
And then all the other stuff, you know, he had all these people working for him that he didn't pay. You know, he claims that he was a smart man. He went bankrupt, and all these people that worked for him, you know, but that's the president, and it's all nepotism. He's got his whole family in there in the administration, but you know, I'm saying to myself, I'm hoping and praying that these people don't drink the Kool-Aid come November. All these Republicans, and just, you know, do the right thing and get this guy out of war.
Well, Nick, I have to tell you, if you didn't hear me in the beginning, I have experienced something last couple of weeks that, and I've been doing this now for almost 9 years. I guess I've been on the air,
Yeah.
And I have never experienced what I've been experiencing the last couple of weeks. Republicans that have gotten in touch with me and said, I am never going to vote for that man. I'm not voting Republican. And I mean, it's just like it's like a snowball. And I think what you're going to see, I'm not wishing, because to be honest with you, for the health of our country, I would like to see a viable Republican Party like the old ones we used to have that made sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Nick?
Yep.
Where two people could sit in a room and they could hash out an idea and come up with a solution. Because I think some of the best solutions we've had in this country is when you have the right and the left that come together, and they're able to come together and formulate a proposal to solve a problem.
Yeah.
So we need that, because neither side has all the answers.
I know. And you know what really makes me laugh is all these people that he's given pardons to. Roger Stone, one of the biggest crooks around, was his best friend, Trump's best friend. He's given him he cut his sentence from 7 to 9 to 3 to 5 years. And now he was saying something a couple of weeks ago. He wants to give him a pardon. I'm saying to myself, is this guy kidding? You know, you might as well, you know, you're going to give Bernie Madoff. Next thing I know, he's going to give Bernie Madoff, a pardon too. You know, but I'm a transplant from New York, actually, Staten Island, and I'm down here retired, and I'm down in Jensen Beach. So it's a wonderful life. But this guy here has got to go. I'm just hoping these people don't drink the Kool-Aid. You know, all these Republicans. You know, there's a lot of people where I am that have signs on it. It makes me turn my stomach. Have signs on their golf carts, Trump supporter. I'm like, are you guys kidding me?
Wait, listen, you know? Nick, if you're new to the area, I moved here from Long Island, and I can tell you, you're in Jensen Beach. You're in Trump country.
Yeah, I know.
You know, Martin County is about as red can get. That's Trump country.
And you can't tell these people. They don't know right. You know, the man is dead wrong. Marco Rubio, and Ted Cruz called him a con artist when they were running for presidency.
Yes.
And myself, there you go. And they're on his side right now. So, you know, I don't know. All I know is I hope that people speak, the Democrats, and we get, you know, it's going to be tough for the next Democratic president to come in to clean up this guy's mess. That's what, you know, I'm thinking about. But hopefully, you know, we can get this country turned around, because this guy's destroying the country.
Well, thank you, Nick, and I agree with you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you have a good night.
Okay, you too. And we got my friend Winnie on line 3. Yes, ma'am.
How you doing? How y'all doing? You and Cliff?
Okay.
Yeah, that Nancy Pelosi, I heard on Rush Limbaugh yesterday that she's 80 years old, and they were saying they don't know why she won't retire. 80 years old, and I ain't know she was that old. She older than Trump and Joe Biden, in a way that and then what about her $3 trillion stimulus plan? They say the House passed it, and Donald Trump don't say the Republic. They go to the Senate. Donald Trump don't say they're not going to pass nothing like that. So what you got to take on, and what's going on with it? What you think? What's going on with it?
Well,
$3 trillion package stimulus.
Part of what is in that plan too. I don't know if you know it or not. They want to give an additional compensation to people receiving Social Security. But
I didn't know that.
I know, but they do, and then it's being blocked, and I don't think you'll see it come through, because I think what they may end up doing is negotiating, because at this point it looks really bad. I don't care what party you are, to be to turning away legislation that would help the people become more economically stable, and that's what people need. With 36 million people unemployed, that's a lot of people out of work. Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm very hopeful about. For the last 5 years on Wednesday nights, I've been talking about the need to change our economic model, that it's broken and it doesn't work. I think what this coronavirus did is show us that the economic model does not work. The way it's set up right now, and the way it has been working since Reagan with the trickle-down economic theory, doesn't work. Doesn't work. Because, and here's why. And I read Nick Hanauer's book, and I've seen his TED Talk, which was very powerful, and the conservatives didn't want people to see it because Nick's a multi-billionaire. And last week, the guy that owns the Dallas Mavericks, geez, I don't know, I can see his face, I can't call his name.
Yeah, Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban said that to get the country out of the economic crisis that it's in, we need to give each person $2,000 a month for a period of something like 90 days. The reason why he said, well, now understand why, because this is what I've been saying for a long time, and this is what Nick Hanauer said. If you've got, and the person that really brought this to light was so many years ago, which was Henry Ford. When Henry Ford created the Model T, okay, it was a fantastic machine. The problem he had was people weren't making enough money to buy it. So now he had this wonderful, inventive vehicle and nobody to buy it. So what did he do? He raised the wages of his people so that vehicle could become affordable. So, okay, now, so watch. This is what Mark Cuban's talking about and what Nick has been talking about for the longest time. Nick said trickle-down economics is the greatest lie that has ever been told to the American people. Now, I've said this probably 20 times over the last 5 years. The trickle-down economic theory, when you hear it, sounds good. And if we had never tried it, and I heard it for the first time, I would be willing to try it. But we've tried it. It doesn't work. Because you have to get people, we are a primarily a consumer-driven economy. So if people are not spending money, it's not driving commerce, and it's not charging the economy. So what you got to do is you got to put money in the hands of people. This is what Mark Cuban's telling us, and I hope somebody's listening. They haven't listened to me. I've been whining and screaming about this for 5 years. You got to put money in the hands of people so that they will spend it, and spending the money in the economy will generate economic activity. I know that's a lot of gobbledygook to you, but it just is just as clear as a bell.
Why they did that the first time? The first deal. Why they did that the first time? The Democrat and Republicans about the $2,000 a month. Why did they did that the first time?
Well, they came up with the $1,200.
So, that's just one-time payout.
Yes, I know it, but that's what happened. I don't know that they'll accept Mark Cuban's idea about the $2,000 a month. They probably won't accept that.
I heard that Canada, I don't know, true, I think Canada, they doing that in Israel.
Yes, and so is Britain. They're making sure that Canada and Britain are both making sure that there is not economic hardship. I don't want to exaggerate, but I think that Canada has tried to guarantee income for like the next 6 months. So they're not having the high unemployment and the crash to the economy like we're having. So, but I have to go, right. Winnie. I got another call.
All right, thank you. All right.
Thank you. Okay. And we have Ken on line 1. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ken?
How you doing?
Okay.
Yeah, this is King.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're really depressing me.
Why am I depressing you?
Okay, let me just say this. What's really starting to really bug me
Okay.
is the left and the Democrats and the media attitude that they have a superior morality than everybody else. And I used to laugh about it because it's a joke, but it's not to get funny anymore. So you're saying that because someone is voting for or supports Trump can't be a Christian. That's absurd.
Okay, well, let's talk about
And
that.
very,
Yeah, I want to talk about that. Okay, I want to talk about that's good because I was hoping somebody would call up. I want to know how you can when the Christians bashed President Obama, said he wasn't a Christian, he had one wife, 2 children, only been married one time, was a doting father, and the Christian right killed him. Our current president has had 3 wives. He's had 2 illicit affairs. He talked about grabbing women by their private parts, and he has been counted to have lied over 16,000 times since he's been in office. Now, I don't know what Bible you read, but the Bible I read, he's failing pretty bad at being a Christian. But I would also say to you, because I am a
well,
Christian.
he never said he was a Christian that I've heard.
Okay. So
But Obama has, and he lied.
I'm sorry?
Obama said he was a Christian, and he lied.
Oh, you don't think he was a Christian?
I didn't say that.
Okay. He
I
told.
said he said he was a Christian.
Well, I'm pretty sure he was a Christian.
Well, he said he was.
Okay,
But
well,
you're known by your fruit, Rudy. You're known by your fruits.
okay, so was
And Trump, as far as I know, has never said he was a Christian.
so let me ask you a question. So was Obama tagged with 16,000 lies? He wasn't even tagged with
Now,
16,000.
do you want to talk about Obama's lies?
Okay, go
I can
ahead.
name 3 or 4 of them right off the bat. They're pretty serious.
Okay. Go.
Okay? All right. First of all, he lied about Benghazi.
No, he didn't.
Second of all, he lied.
He did not lie. He did not lie about Benghazi. That's
Yes,
one.
he did.
That's one of those things that conservatives say that really piss me off. And I'm going to tell you why.
Well, I'm sorry,
Okay, wait a minute. Let me tell you why. There was 7 hearings on Benghazi. 6 of the 7 hearings were conducted by Republicans, and at the conclusion of those 7 hearings and Hillary's testimony for 12 hours, nobody came up with anything that was done wrong in Benghazi. But according to conservatives, they're guilty even though they can't come up with anything. How is that a lie if you can't come up that they did something wrong?
I'll tell you how it's a lie if you'll give me the time to do it.
I'm listening.
Okay. When Susan Rice went on the TV, on all the networks, and said the attack in Benghazi was because of a video, that was a lie. And she admits that was a lie now.
No, she does not admit that.
She said, oh, yes, she did.
No, she didn't. She did not admit
Anyway,
that was a lie.
Anyway, let's move on.
Okay.
Let's move on.
All right.
Let's move on. Obama said he found out about Hillary's private server when it came out in the news.
That's a lie.
How do you know that?
How do I know that? When the FBI interviewed Huma Abedin about Hillary's emails, they showed her an email, and so they asked her if they recognized the name. This email was sent to Hillary Clinton, and she said she didn't recognize the name. Okay, it was an email that was sent to Hillary Clinton, and they told her that was an email from Obama with a pseudonym, a fake name.
Well, let me ask you.
And she said, how is that email not classified? So that email was sent long before it came out in the news that she had a private email account.
Okay, continue.
Get it?
No, that doesn't
Okay.
work. That doesn't work because that doesn't mean that he knew there was a private server.
She's right.
But okay, go ahead.
He sent the email to Hillary. How does he send it on her private email if he doesn't know she has a private email?
How do you know it came on her private email? How do you know it was not a flow over from? Wait a second.
You're not listening, Rudy. You're not listening.
I'm
You're
listening.
not listening.
Go ahead.
It was sent on email. It was sent to Hillary's private email account.
Have you seen the email? Have you seen the email?
No, I've seen the testimony of Huma Abedin to the FBI.
Okay.
All right, now let's go to the second debate between Romney and Obama, where he said that he called the attack a terrorist attack. That was not true. He did not. Romney was correct. And 3 days after that debate, the narrator, what was her name? Candy, I forgot. I can't think of her name. Candy from CNN said that in the whole, Romney was correct. That he did not call it a terrorist attack in the Rose Garden. And he did not.
Okay.
Of course, not many people know that because they didn't see her on the news saying that Romney was right. They only saw the debate.
Okay. So that's
this is what I'm going to leave you with. This is what I'm going to leave you with.
Okay.
As far as there's one thing that concerns me about Trump, and this is what it is. What concerns me about Trump is that he'll take Maxine Waters' advice, which is what's good for the goose is good for the gander. That concerns me. Because if he does that, then you're likely to see what you're talking about. And you're likely to see the IRS start looking into Democrats' taxes and trying to find excuses to persecute Democrats. If he takes Maxine Waters' advice. And my last thing I'm going to say is to all the media and people on the left, what Jesus said. Pull out of the beam out of your own eye first, then you can see clearly to pull the speck out of somebody else's eye.
Okay.
Goodbye, Rudy.
All right. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've had that debate about Benghazi with people who still say she's guilty. I get so angry when they say that because all of those hearings were conducted, almost all the hearings were conducted by Republicans, and they didn't come up with anything to make her guilty. She testified for 12 hours before Congress. They still didn't come up with anything to find her guilty. Now, so how is she still guilty? I lost a very good friend of mine I've known for a long time. For that same reason, he said, she's guilty. I said, guilty of what? Do you believe in the law? Do you believe that the law should be adhered to? If you believe in the law and the law has not found her guilty of anything, how can she still be guilty? How come your decision that she's guilty overrides the investigations that were taking place? The issue really was never whether she was guilty or not. The issue was to smear and dirty her, which they did very effectively, to keep her from potentially becoming our president. And they were very, very effective at that. But go look it up. Don't take my word for it. She had all those investigations, and they never found anything to indict her for. So that's the truth of the matter. Okay, so when you say that to me, you get me all riled up, because that's one of those things that get me a little jazzed up, because if she was guilty, I would say, okay, she's guilty. She did something wrong. Okay? When President Obama said, you can keep your doctor, that was an inappropriate statement, ill-advised, and flat out wrong. And anybody who had a year's worth of experience in health insurance would know there's no way you could make that statement, because you can't make a doctor take a patient. The doctor takes a patient because they have a contract with the insurance company to provide services. In the absence of that contract, then there will be no doctor providing service for that patient. That was a bad answer. I don't make any excuses for that. He said it. He shouldn't have said it, and it was wrong. But don't accuse somebody of something and there's been adequate information, and then you still going to make them guilty. That's ridiculous. And that's just lacks wisdom, and it's not judicious. And listen, there's plenty of things to talk about, and I think Ken was upset because I touched a nerve, because he understands what I was saying when he was talking about payback. He sees that as dangerous. As I was telling you, it is dangerous that we're allowing these things to go on, and they're going to come back and bite you hard like a pit bull. So just keep that in mind. I gave you something to think about. And I know when you turn this radio off tonight, you're going to think about what I just said. Supporting this ill-mannered behavior will come back to bite you in the butt. And I would like to thank you so much for listening to the African American Scene. I want all of you to be safe. God bless, and I will see you right here next Wednesday for the African American Scene.
The African American Scene with Rudy Howard, presented every week at this time by Howard Insurance of Port St. Lucie. Archives of this show are in video format on YouTube. On WPSLTV.com takes you right to our YouTube. And join us every week, every Wednesday night, in the 6 o'clock hour for the African American Scene with Rudy Howard.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.